In the past 6 months or so, I've helped over 6,000 Americans qualify for $131 million in government benefits that they were leaving unclaimed. And a really interesting aspect of that statistic is that the third most unclaimed benefit in terms of total value was childcare subsidies, specifically the CCAP, the Childcare Assistance Program. And if you look at the data here, 728 total people qualified for the childcare subsidy, and they, on average, qualified for $22,000. So I really wanted to make this video to reach the people out there who are paying a lot in childcare, because there's actually a huge discrepancy between the number of people who are paying a lot for childcare, where it's really affecting their livelihood, their income is strained, and the amount of people who are claiming the government assistance that is made purposely to help those people. So today I'm going to tell you exactly how to get all the government benefits. Here's what I promise I will give you today. I'm first going to explain why childcare costs have been rising very briefly, and just tell you that you're not crazy. It is really hard to pay for childcare, especially in 2026. It's expensive, and luckily there is help for people out there like that. And then I'm going to show you the tool that I built called the CCAP Navigator. And so what this calculator does is anyone in any of the 50 states can input their information, see whether they qualify for CCAP, what the income limit is in their state, and then the exact steps to go get CCAP. And I've made it as simple and easy as possible to go do it, and the whole thing is completely free. Let's get right into it. Now, first of all, a little about me. I'm a senior at Dartmouth, not for much longer, but I founded benefitsusa.org to reduce the friction around getting government benefits. I saw this was a huge problem. Over $140 billion in government benefits goes unclaimed every single year, which I frankly thought was unacceptable. And so that's why I founded Benefits USA, to increase awareness of getting government benefits and reduce the friction. 38 community organizations use the screener to help their clients, and I'm only getting started. This is going to be a long journey, but glad you're here with me. So let's hop right into it. The first thing I want to explain is that every state has a different limit for getting CCAP. So for this example, I'm going to pick Texas as the first state that I input, and I'm going to show you an example of what people in Texas qualify for. So a household of 4, let's say they have 2 children, and they're making about $84,000 a year. So that's divided by 12 is $7,000 a month, and they're both working, right? And so this is an example of a relatively middle income family. And let's see whether they qualify. Look at that, they qualify. Yes, why do you qualify? First of all, the tool tells you why you qualify. Well, it's under the Texas limit of $87,732 a year, and the tool tells you exactly what the estimate is for your household. And this is based on a database of every single state's eligibility criteria and the reasoning behind each state, because it's unfortunately super complicated, where every state has a different eligibility criteria and then criteria for how much you actually get paid if you qualify. So that's why I made this free tool, to simplify the whole process. How to get started. Here's just the steps that you would need to run through. You need to gather the relevant information, ID, proof of address, etc. Apply through Texas. These are just tips and tricks, but here's the exact website, here's the exact number, and here's exactly what you need to prepare in order to get the benefit. And the good thing is, because you already used the calculator, you know exactly what you qualify for. And these are the other programs that someone in your exact situation should be considering. So you may have heard of Head Start and Early Head Start. If you click this, it'll show you the programs nearby you. And here are some other programs as well. However, I want to stress, the reason I made a CCAP tool, not a Head Start tool, is because if you can get CCAP, it's going to be a lot more valuable for you and your family. Because as I said before, the average payment is about $22,000 a year. So that's a meaningful improvement. One thing I wanted to show you all, which I kind of skipped over in the beginning, which I promised I'd show you, is that childcare has climbed almost twice as fast as everything else in the past 40 years or so. Fundamentally, the TLDR is childcare's got more expensive and hours and wages haven't quite caught up. So the point is, people need assistance more than ever. And there's no shame in getting the assistance. Now, I wanted to also run an example of a different state through the screener. So let's go Ohio, and I'm gonna put the exact same information, right? Check my state's limit. Let's see. Oh, so in Ohio, the reason I chose Ohio is because Ohio is one of the lowest state limits. And so in Ohio, you have to make less than $43,000 a year to get this benefit, which is really low. However, there are still hundreds of thousands of families who are not getting this benefit, even though they totally qualify for it. And this gives you the rationale for exactly why and the other programs you can get as well. And really interesting thing is if we pull this up, this shows the chart for the income limit for every single state. So New Mexico is the best state for getting CCAP. If you're in New Mexico, you need to get this. There is no limit. Everyone in New Mexico can get this benefit. Maine, Vermont, Virginia, New Hampshire lead the way, New York, California. And then if we go all the way down, you can see if you can see your state somewhere in here. You can pause it if you see your state. But Nevada and Ohio are the bottom. So if you're in Nevada and making a middle class income, it's unlikely you're going to get CCAP. But the kind of belief I want to shift in a lot of your heads is that in a lot of these states, if you're making over $80,000, $90,000, you can still get this benefit. And so that's part of the impetus for why I wanted to make this video, is to show that regardless of the state you're in, there's still a good chance that you can qualify for this benefit. And so I just wanted to make this tool and this video super quickly to show all of you how to get this benefit and hopefully spread the awareness, spread the word to get this message out there. And here are some of the common questions that you can read if you go on the site. This is a completely free tool. I made it to help families specifically who are dealing with childcare costs, daycare costs. So if that's not you, this is not the video for you. But if that is you, I implore you to go see what you qualify for and go get these benefits. And I made a tool that, in my opinion, is the best tool out there to see what you qualify for. So yeah, that's all from me. I hope you all have a good one. Hope you all get the benefit. I hope if you know someone that is paying for childcare that you send them this and spread the word. But yeah, have a good one, everybody.